Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is like my fifth time trying this, so please bear with me. I appreciate your patience. Today is the last lesson in Unit 9, and this is writing a function rule from not a table, but a graph. So in number 1 on your notes, we have a graph. And you guys might need to zoom in on this. I cannot get any closer than where I'm at. We have a graph that has a line that has 2 points listed. Now, newsflash, if you can read a graph, you can find your own 2 points. But thankfully, we have a couple of them listed for us. So, I have 1 point that's marked as 0, -1. And we have another point that's listed as 4, 1. Okay, that's what you already have on your paper. So, from here, I want to write a function rule. Now, yesterday we talked about writing rules from a table and finding what happens from one x to the other. And that's really just counting our rise and our run. But here we're given 2 points. We're not given a bunch of them. So we're going to take those 2 points and write our function rule. And if we didn't have those 2 points listed, we could find our own 2 points on there as well, because we all know how to count. So let's do a quick refresh about what slope-intercept form is. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, y equals mx plus b. So from there, I take a look at my graph. I like to check, do I have any coordinates listed that have 0 as the x? Thankfully, we do. And that's 0, -1. That automatically tells me that, wow, there's my y-intercept. Okay, so I already know my y-intercept. And guess what? If that wasn't listed there, I could look and I could read that graph. Your graphs on your notes have the lines where you can count and it's labeled and everything. I'm not going to draw all that. You guys can look at your paper. So if I already know my y-intercept, I can go ahead and plug it in down here. Y-intercept is the b, and my y-intercept is -1. It's crossing the y-axis at the -1. Now, finding the slope is requiring us today to remember that equation or that formula that we used earlier in finding slope with 2 points. Jog your memory. Okay, I'll help you. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you ever need to find slope, you can always use that formula. So let's go ahead and do that. I have 2 points. So the first step would be, for me, is I have to organize. I'm going to label one coordinate x1, y1. And then the other coordinate x2, y2. That just helps me remember to keep things in the correct order. Okay? From there, I'm going to see if my red shows up on the paper. That's okay. So from there, I plug these into my formula. So m equals y2 minus y1. So 1 minus negative 1. 1 minus negative 1. Look, two negatives. Two negatives make a what? Positive. Bam, bam. I'm going to take care of that already. And then x2 minus x1. So 4 minus 0. Then I do my math. What is 1 plus 1? You got it. It's 2. What is 4 minus 0? 4. So my slope is 2 over 4. Can I reduce that? Yes, I can. 2/4 is equal to 1/2. So my slope is 1 over 2. Rise 1, run 2. So up 2, right, nope, scratch that. Up 1, right 2. So from there, I can take a look at my graph and see if I'm in the ballpark. Now, this is where you use your knowledge about positive slope, negative slope. Be careful, man. So I look, up 1, right 2. I know this is positive slope, so it's going uphill. Is my line going uphill? Yes, it is. Okay, so we're good there. Now, since I have the lines, or you have the lines on your graph with your notes, I can count rise 1 over 2, rise 1 over 2. Now, my graph is a little bit off, but if you check yours and count with the lines, you can see that you can go up 1, right 2, and hit your line every single time. Okay, so let's fill in the rest of our formula. Y equals slope 1/2 plus negative 1. Scratch that. Okay. Well, what did I miss? For whatever reason, I always miss that. So this is not correct. I am missing my x right here. So what I'm going to do is rewrite this for you so it makes yourself a little bit more clear. Y equals 1/2 x plus negative 1, or y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Either one of those will give you a correct answer. Okay? Now, I am going to go over one more, and then the rest is going to be what you need to get done for homework. Okay? So, if you need to rewatch this, by all means, rewatch this. And then from there, let's see if I can work my magic here. From there, we'll start our review on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, so let's take a look at, I'm going to skip over or diagonally to number 4, because number 4, we have to read our graph to find our y-intercept. Okay, so let me go ahead and draw this. Okay? So number 4 has a line that's going about like that. And the 2 points that they gave us are -2, 4, and they gave us 1, 1. Now, as you can see, my graph is not drawn to scale, but we're pretending. So, what I would do, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. I like using the surefire method of using my equations because I know for sure that that's going to give me the correct answer. So I'm going to do that. So we need to find our function rule, and that's y equals mx plus b. I do not have a surefire way of finding my y-intercept. So I am going to need to read my graph. If I read my graph, where does my line cross the y? It crosses right there. Now, on your notes, you see that it crosses right at the 2 on the x-axis or y-axis. So I know my y-intercept is 2. So if you do not have an x coordinate with a 0 on it, read your graph. You with me? Okay, cool. So, from there, I need to find my slope. Couple different ways I can do this. If you have a graph that has all the lines on it, you can count. You can count your rise over run. Count. Yeah, you can do that, but in my case, my graph doesn't have the lines on it, and so there's always a chance of miscounting or graphs not having the grid on it. So the surefire way is using that slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's what I always use. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, I have 2 points, and I can find 2 exact points. So that really is the best way to do this. So here I have x1, y1. Here I have x2, y2. From there, I plug my numbers in. So y2 is 1, y1 is 4. So 1 minus 4. And then x2 minus x1. x2 is 1. x1 is -2. The dogs are so excited about math, they can barely contain themselves. Or they heard someone at the door. Okay, so 1 minus 4 is -3. Add the opposite. 1 plus 2 is +3. Mac. Sorry, guys. So I simplify 3 and 3. That simplifies to -1. So my slope is negative. I can do a quick check. Math reasoning. Negative slope. My line should be going downhill. Is my line going downhill? Yes, it is. So I can reasonably assume that I'm on the right track. So here's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Now I can write my function rule. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals my slope, -1, -1x plus my y-intercept is 2, 2. So my function rule is y equals -1x plus 2. You can do this every single time. This slope equation is a surefire way of getting things correct. Okay, so your homework is to do numbers 2 and 3 and send me a picture of them. I'll have a Google slide up there. Okay? I hope you guys have a great day. Take care and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye-bye.